You're useless. You're helpless. You can't look after yourself. You're good for nothing.
Brain trauma made them feel alone, but we'll show you a place that's giving them back a sense of belonging.
You see someone with a broken leg, and you can identify that, oh, that person's got a broken leg, and it's obvious, and it's broken, and then it heals, and then they move on. And so often with a brain injury, you don't see that. You don't know what that is. You don't know what a person's going through.
Yes, brain trauma can be an invisible injury, and one that is very difficult to come back from. Every aspect of life can be affected, from the ability to speak to the ability to walk. Patients are often left feeling helpless, angry, alone, surrounded by people who don't understand. Bill Hicks took a family tragedy and turned it into a life's mission to create a place for those with brain injuries to find home and community. Duncan McHugh has that story.
We have Team Japan. Team Japan.
Welcome to Bill's Place.
Wow.
Where day in, day out,
Good.
Bill Hicks is in the inspiration business.
Have fun, be creative, enjoy yourself, and we'll see you back here in an hour with your beautiful dishes.
Today, it's an Iron Chef competition.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
16 residents and staff encouraged to cook up a storm. Looks like fun and games.
So just the word infused, I think that's a couple points right there.
But this is downright extraordinary when you realize every resident of Bill's Place
Just really keeping your fingers tucked in.
suffers from a brain injury.
They're called shrimp for a reason.
Yvonne Studley, or Bub as she prefers to be called, moved here 5 months ago. A funny lady whose story is anything but. Vav grew up in northern BC. Her passion's the outdoors and her job as an office manager. Until 6 years ago on the Kitimat Highway.
I had my hand on the steering wheel and I was bracing. My hands were out straight and I was screaming. No! It was a high scream. I was hollering, no! No! Get away from me! And I'm like this. The last thing was like, I was like this. Because something was coming at me.
It was a moose. Her car was totaled. When she came to, a month later, her optic nerve was severed, leaving her legally blind. And she was deaf and no sense of smell, taste, or touch. Things would be different, explained the doctors, because of what happened to her brain.
When they explained about the brain injury, and they said that the right side of my brain was bruised and I had a stroke from the car accident. That's why I was paralyzed.
What was that like for you to hear that?
To be told I could never work again. That was just a crushing blow. That was devastating for me.
An even bigger blow for Vav and the staggering number of Canadians who suffer a brain injury is lack of long-term care. Many live with family, but others find themselves living on the street, homeless. Worse still, too many end up in prison. But one man is trying to change that by turning his family home into a model of care for the walking wounded.
Nice work, Vav.
Bill Hicks is an unlikely savior for the brain injured. Not a doctor or nurse, but a drummer who many may recognize from the Juno Award-winning Powder Blues Band, whose life changed forever when his teenage brother Kevin suffered major brain trauma in a car crash.
You see someone with a broken leg, and you can identify that, oh, that person's got a broken leg, and it's obvious, and it's broken, and then it heals, and then they move on. And so often with a brain injury, you don't see that. You don't know what that is. You don't know what a person's going through. And so I didn't know what to expect as a brother, and where it was going to go from there.
Well, depends how...
It's hard to imagine looking at Kevin now, but after 2 months in a coma, he had to start from scratch. It was Bill who fed him and bathed him, and it was a slow process, but it slowly helped Kevin to where he is today, living on his own. the kind of intensive care so often unavailable.
And so many people, they get discharged and they go and they're on their own, and that's where there's vulnerabilities, there's the anger, there's not knowing who they are, there's not knowing where I can receive help. Thanks for coming.
Bill concluded the brain injured need to be treated like people, not patients. He turned his family house into a private care facility.
Perfect. Had it down?
No sign marking it as a destination for the disabled. Instead, a place where those with brain injuries could find healing and a home.
Perfect.
Initially, I had our family home. I decided that I wanted to do for other people what I've been able to do with my brother. So I had people over, we were doing respite, we were doing community support. And so my vision always, right from the beginning, it was really easy for me to come from my heart because I wanted to create something that I would be happy having my brother live at.
Need a hand?
Yeah. I moved my head too fast and I got really dizzy.
Residents of Bill's Place live in their own units. Difficult for Vav because of her chronic pain, but staff know her routines and help out daily.
And another left.
It is a far cry from life in Kitimat after her accident. Living alone, unable to cook or shower herself, family members blaming her for invisible injuries they just didn't understand.
She said people have to come over and they have to help you do everything because you can't do anything for yourself. You're useless. You're totally useless. You're nothing. And she's yelling at us. And I went from up here to as far down as you could go.
That's quite an album.
Jeff Halson was also in a pretty low place after his brain injury, warehoused in a care home and way over-medicated.
I was a zombie. I basically woke up when it was breakfast time, which was the medicine, and I zoned out.
Do you have any Jim Croce?
No.
His sister Lorna watched him go downhill, beside herself with worry but no idea how to cope with Jeff's anger or depression.
It was a combination of years, chaos, medication, alcohol. He was just a mess, and I just said, no, I'm not taking him home this time. I said, I can't look after him. I can't do this. Like, I don't know what to do, but I can't do this, and he needs some help.
They found Bill's place, and overnight, Jeff transformed. Encouraged by staff, he changed his meds and took up art. Suddenly, he could concentrate again.
I have my chair and my glass of water and my brush, and I'm at home. I'm in Jeff's zone. I'm in the comfort area, and I have a purpose. It just seems like, yeah, this is a gift. This has changed my life, totally.
The secret to this transformative change, say folks at Bill's Place, is simply paying attention to an individual's needs. Then, whether it may be animal therapy, Bub, for example, always loved dogs.
It's like she doesn't know anything about the brain injury. I'm just a person.
Twist and shout, twist and shout.
Or music therapy. Bill somehow finds the resources to make this extraordinary care happen.
How do you pay for all of this? Extra music gigs. No, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge, absolutely. It's a tough gig. We've had to be really creative. And you're going to hear that across the country. Funding for support or working with brain injury is minimal.
By charging rent and pooling their health funding, he's grown Bill's Place into a cluster of 6 houses where 2/3 of the residents eventually go on to independent living.
Great job. Thanks, Father Gary.
Yeah! Gaining independence and getting back into their life is where they want to go. we'll figure that out and we'll assess and we'll support people gradually gaining those skills. A lot of other people, they're where they are now, and so maybe it's enriching their life. And I always say, these people have a brain injury, but not a spirit injury.
Isn't it pretty? Everything.
And spirit is on full display once the Iron Chefs wrap up in the kitchen and it's time for judging.
Can you taste the infusion, Duncan?
So much infusion.
Whoa!
There are awards for presentation, teamwork, and taste.
And we would like to award this proudly to Team China.
And I have to say that what made Team China's salad taste particularly sweet was the dance moves that were going in.
If Bub seems really delighted, it's because this week she could taste her food again, a sensation she hasn't had since her accident.
It was good. I could taste it. I could taste it. I was just so excited.
It takes a team to help someone recover from a brain injury,
Clean.
to celebrate wins, both big and small.
Kick ass.
So you've been here 5 months now? When you look into your crystal ball, what do you see?
A journey I am going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy it because there's things I'm going to be able to do we've never done before. I know there are limitations, but I see me living here forever.
Everybody remembers the Hanson brothers. Well, I'd like to introduce our secret weapon, the Hicks brothers.
As for Bill, he need only look at his brother, once unable to walk or talk, or Bub,
I'm not good. I am freaking great.
to understand even the brain injury can be healed by treating the person inside the patient.
That was a good play. Ooh!
Duncan McHugh, CBC News, Nanaimo, BC.